Human resource is the most important asset of an organization. It determines the success or failure of an organization. It is related to the organization's profitability, and their ability cannot be replaced by machines. Hello and welcome. I'm Stephen Ipalobo Lawson. This is Business Matters, where business truly matters.
Business matters. Let's talk business. Business matters.
Organizations must therefore be smart to engage, select, and retain personnel with requisite knowledge, required skills, and experiences for the growth of the organization. Let us take our business update.
Business matters.
Hey, beautiful, your eyes, your smile are all begging me to take you home tonight. Now reading page 3. Experience unlimited superfast internet access from Entel 4G.
Entel. Live more.
Business matters.
Human resource managers are evolving in our day-to-day running of an organization. Organizations now rely on managers to get the people who get the job done and, of course, make the company be very productive in terms of profit. Welcome to our professionals segment.
Business matters.
Thank you for joining us, and this is the professional segment where we explore a topic with which you can get insights that can help you to improve your business processes. And joining me in the studio is an individual who is no other person than one of the young professionals, as a matter of fact, 150 young professionals in human resources, who is basically being nominated or listed, as well as an international professional accountant and auditor. He was an internal control officer of a bank, and of course an alumni of Obafemi Awolowo University. He also sits as a chairman of the committee that oversees publication in the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management. And definitely a man who has published several and spoken wide and near. He's also a member of an international facilitation organization. He's the managing director and CEO of Exitum Consulting Limited. And we are going to be exploring the topic, human resources, the business assets. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Adeyemi Ajayi.
How are you?
You know, I'm fine. I mean, I know you went to Ife. I went to Ife as well. So I'm going to just basically say, great Ife.
Great.
It looks like that Aluta spirit seems not to have changed that
It's always
much.
been there.
Now, you're now looking at human resources, the defining business asset.
Yeah.
And we know that humans are the ones who basically define the outcomes and the inputs. They're the one who manage whatever affair it is in an organization, even in life as the case is.
Yeah.
Would you mind giving us an overview of what human resources is all about?
Oh, thank you very much. If you look at every organization, there are 3 major resources every organization has rather. You have the financial resource, you have the physical resource, you have the human resource. Yeah, of all these 3, human resource is the most dynamic, the strongest, and this human resource is the one that defines the future of any business, because it deals with people, it deals with the progress of an organization. So human resource, basically, if you're talking about the overview, is the entire processes and activities that is involved in involving people in the part of the business to ensure that business is redefined in a progressive manner. So human resource is quite dynamic. it's the strongest part of any business.
Okay.
You know, any business that doesn't consider human resource, most times they fail. You know, it's quite
Absolutely.
obvious, yeah.
A lot of people will be concerned in regards to the fact that human resources focuses so much in terms of salary, benefits, and compensation.
Oh.
Because that is what I mean. I'm applying for a job at your organization, and the first thing I'm basically thinking about is what exactly is my salary at the end of the day? What impact would that definitely help or have in terms of my service offering to an organization?
You see, the thought is shifting. You know, everybody coming in is not being seen as a slave anymore. Human resource is redefining relationship. You know, human resource defines relationship between employers and employees. So it's no more about just paying salary, hiring, firing. Human resource manager sits at the table to ask questions. How are we growing? I mean, what do you want to achieve as an organization? So the human resource manager is more strategic. The human resource manager is a business partner. The human resource manager is a thinker, you know, for the business, a catalyst. He's no longer a process person. The human resource is not just an appendage of the business. You know, it's a nucleus of the business. It defines how a business is run, how people are coordinated, and they add values to the organization.
Oh, that's great. That's
so
great.
it's beyond salaries, hiring, firing. You know, we're the nucleus of the business. We're also part of decision making.
I know, for example, we live in a social media age, the age of the digital engagement, the digital natives and all of that.
Yeah.
And if you look at some of the current trends going across the whole world, whether it's in human resource, whether it's in television, whether it's in even biblical or Islamic issues, as the case might be, in terms of religion, you see the impact of digital imprints in all of this. What is your take in terms of big data, artificial intelligence, machine learning, some of these current trends and their impact on human resources?
You just touched my love point. Because you see, artificial intelligence, social media vibes, or social media integration into business is not just new, but it's been redefined. And I can tell you that has a future. You know, because data analytics and human resource analytics this time around comes to define how data speaks to the business, how data describes the business, and how data determines the future of the business. You know, with all humility, I think.
But data are not humans, are they? They're machine
data
language.
Are humans. Data are just facts, details that are obtained from activities, processes, phenomenon, you know, relative to purpose and time. So when you pick this data, you're trying to ask, what did we do last year? What were the trends? So what's going to happen if this trend continues? You know, that's what we call predictive analytics anyway. So data comes to work. Even so many things that are working in social media, they're about data. You know, at times I believe if you go on YouTube, you get a video that comes to you, you know, to show you that, oh, this is a suggested video. They've studied your trends rather. They've picked your data, they've interpreted, they've done a prediction for you. So it's data is the future. And if you're talking about HR data analytics this time around, you're talking about how HR activities, you know, relate to the progress of an organization. And when you pick this data from different value chains in HR, it just tells you to see the first picture where you are, the picture of where you may likely be, then you can decide where you want to be. You know, so it's quite. There are integrations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting enough, because some of the concerns a lot of us have will be with what is ongoing in the human resources landscape, where outsourcing seems to have taken over people who now, rather than being staffed in organizations, they are oftentimes or not based on contract arrangement. And that itself, some of the benefits that they enjoy, full staffs, you know, are the ones who basically enjoy those jobs. Do you think that is not a concern, especially for the human resource direction?
Yeah, it's a concern. You know, with a lot of my colleagues in the industry, will raise this topic, casualization.
Yes.
You know, getting more of outsourced professionals. And don't be surprised. Some of these outsourced guys have masters. They have professional qualifications. But because they can't just sit back at home, they have to come out to work. So when they come out, they take up the job. I mean, half bread is better than nothing or none. So they sit down and say, okay, let me take this decision. But I think the way they are being managed is totally wrong.
Okay.
There should be a law that should enforce some things.
Yeah, it's important. Coming for someone like you, I mean, you were a professional, well, with huge repute. It's important that you actually had mentioned that.
Yeah.
At this point in time, we're going to take a break. As soon as we come back from our break, the conversation continues.
Experience unlimited super-fast internet access from Entel 4G.
Entel. Live more.
You're welcome back. If you're just joining us, I've been engaging with Mr. Adeyemi Ajayi, and we've been looking at the topic, human resources, the defining business asset. Before we went on a break, Mr. Ajayi, one of the things that I've actually been very passionate about, and two things as a matter of fact, and I hope we explore that before this interview section wraps up. One has to do with intrapreneurship. You know, we've always had a case of entrepreneurship within, which is without, or how do I put that, outside the organization, where I'm outside that system that guarantees me job security. What about the fact that I may not necessarily have those skills to be successful in that engagement or venture? Why don't I put those skills within an organization and get compensation for that?
Thank you. One of the things we should look at in Nigeria is the employer-employee relationship. Most times, employers see the employees as maybe slaves, not of value. You know, I'm paying you. You don't know anything. I'm thinking for you, so I'm paying you. Now, the moment that mentality subsists, that person will not be creative and value-adding to your business. Do you get? Then, if you come to building entrepreneurs within organization, first thing you should look at is the culture.
Okay.
You should build the culture where people should be able to think, they'll be innovative and value-adding for the organization. Give them challenges to handle. Don't micromanage them. Let them make mistakes. Let them come and be innovative. Give them freedom of mind. By the time they have freedom of mind, the next level they're going into is the value they're adding to the organization. So back to what you said. If I know that, okay, I cannot run a venture successfully, can I put that value proposition within an organization? I'm ready to do that, but it depends on the employer's turn position to me. You know, what does the employer perceive as value from me?
Are you a facilitator? And I know of recent at the Harvard business class of, I can't remember. 2011. You made a presentation on the topic, something that has to do with Unbanked in Africa, and that itself is quite impressive. Yeah. And as someone who is a teacher of sort and a tutor or a teacher, as we want to say, you've actually looked at the issue of learning and development, especially within the present digital age, where people have also made the case that open and distance learning are better forms of acquiring, whether certification, knowledge, and the rest of that. How has that been your experience so far? And has that actually helped in improving performance management for a lot of employees or contractors?
Yeah, absolutely. You see, what you learned last year may not be valuable this year anymore. Because there are faster rates of change in knowledge base. You know, people are changing, they're learning new things are coming out every day. And if you really want to perform, you need to be at that level of learning. You know, there's this model, 7-20-10 model, 70-20-10 model. The 70% of it is saying that you can learn on the job, you know, self-learning. You deliberate about it, you learn from your mistakes, you bring your experiences, you share experiences to learn. The 20% is the social learning, which you do with, you know, the e-learning on the system, you go on YouTube to learn and all that. And the 20% is the regular classroom learning. Now, in terms of performance management, there are two ways that learning helps employee to perform and become productive. One is being proactive. You know, for your position, we'll just discover that, okay, next year, we need to train you on X, Y, Z to perform very well. We don't wait till after before we train you. You know, we are proactive about it. Now, another one is we've seen your performance, and the question is, oh, you didn't really perform the way we wanted. So what were the problems? These were the knowledge gap. Then we'll train you. You know, there are two ways. One is before, one is after.
Now, one of the things we're very passionate about on Business Matters is making a case for the SMEs, for the micro, small, and medium enterprises.
Yeah.
Because we've oftentimes believe that that's the engine that can actually drive the economy to the extent of creating opportunities, expanding jobs, as well as impacting on our stories as a country. I mean, China has that story, Malaysia had, Singapore is definitely not recent. We're seeing what is happening in Kenya, and then Ghana itself is beginning to get itself in that position. And so for a small-scale enterprise, as the case is, human resources might look as an Herculean issue, and in terms of cost, that cost is something we just can't be able to bear because we're SMEs. In your own consultancy and your experience, what do you think is the way forward?
Yeah, the way forward is, if you cannot buy something, you rent it.
Sometimes the price of some rent.
No, it depends on where you are renting from.
Okay.
You can rent something from Atikoyi.
Okay.
They rent it for you 1,000.
Yes.
If you go to mainland somewhere, I don't want to mention again.
Not at all. You just did.
You may have to rent it for like 150.
That's true.
Do you understand? So,
but the same thing as
the same thing. I want to tell you a lot of young consultants out there that can help organizations do better with their human resource. They can take off that burden away from them.
That's true.
They can offer them services at cheaper prices. They can offer them services as low as even 50,000 per month, and they handle their activities professionally. Do you understand?
Which, like maybe if their tax returns, their salary, whatever it is, finances, recruitment,
comp and ben, their training calendars, they can do a lot of administrative work for them.
That's true.
In terms of human resource and add values. But the problem we always have is most employers believe they know everything. They can do everything, and they can do everything excellently well. Again, most of them goof. They goof. When they goof, they don't know where to hang their problem. They look for one employee that can be a scapegoat. They hang the problem on the neck of the person and say, you are the problem. Again, they will not want to be honest to themselves.
That's true.
I always tell people, what I don't know, I learn. And if I can't learn, I ask questions. It's still part of learning.
Yes, that's true.
And if I cannot ask questions, I keep quiet to learn. Do you understand? So most of them don't want to admit that, okay, I don't really know this thing about managing people. And I even have to tell you, pressures come on them, the business owners, to the extent that they push these pressures on employees. But if you have someone managing your human resource, you take that burden off you.
I know you sit, or you basically on the committee that has to do with the Federal Civil Service or something of that nature.
Yeah.
And then you guys are looking at issues that has to do with compensation of, I'm not too sure now.
Oh, that was when we're looking at minimum wage.
The minimum wage affair.
Yeah.
And then I wonder what your take is about that.
Yeah.
Is the pay enough to take people home, or is that a starting point for us to be able to?
The pay can take you to your gates.
Okay.
That's the truth. That's my opinion.
Okay.
Because we looked back from 2011 when this pay was increased to 18,000 naira. And what was 18,000 naira in dollar then?
Oh, man, that was ridiculous.
So what is 18,000 naira now? Or what is 30,000 naira now? It's less than $100.
That's true.
And then it was above $100. You see the difference? Now, the value of money within this period are just out. But again, let's be realistic with government. If government has to scale up, as they said, what are the palliative measures they need to put in place? There's a difference between giving you 30,000 naira and I'm collecting 50,000 naira from you,
yeah.
and giving you 30,000 naira and making it comfortable for you to spend. Do you understand?
Yes.
So there will be need for palliative measures. So even though you are going to pay the 30,000 naira, there should be free healthcare, free education, stuff like that. You're not paying on your children's school fees and all. So those are palliative measures. You're not paying for healthcare, fine. So those one will take some burden off you. We should always look at things down the line. If I take care of you very well as workers, I'm telling you the truth, you will go to the moon for me.
That's true.
And a lot of ideas will come out.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because for small-scale businesses themselves, a lot of the challenge that they face is the fact that if I've trained one or two members of my staff to the point where they are more effective than they used to be, and then a big organization comes in and just poach the guy away and just like eagle grabs whatever it is. How do I secure my investments, especially in a lot of...
Training them.
So why would I train a man and the man disappears afterwards?
Then we still come back and ask you, did you really train them to stay, or you train them to be happy?
No, but you see, this is putting me on the spot because it's also investment, and
Absolutely.
I know that it's an investment that there is an expected return on. And so, well, that kind of dilemma for an employer, especially who runs a small-scale enterprise, how do you expect him to have that addressed?
Okay. One of the things I want people to, or business owners, to put at the back of their mind is this: the fact that you trained someone does not mean that you should not look at some other things around that training.
Okay.
Training is an investment. Let me give you a typical example. I train you.
Okay.
You're my staff. I've invested in you. So the next thing that comes to my mind, I haven't invested in you and everything. How do I deal with you? Do I have a relationship with you?
Okay.
Do I establish a relationship with you?
Okay.
You will feel that you are committed to me if I treat you well.
That's true.
Not making you feel that, see, I've trained you, so I train you to stay. They're two different things.
Okay.
You know, from, look, I trained you, I want us to be partners. They're two different things. If I train you to become a partner with me, you will be reluctant to leave.
That's true.
Irrespective of the offers you get. But if I train you to make you feel like I'm doing you a favor, I mean, those are the things that play out most times.
All right.
Yes.
I want to say a big thank you very much, Adeyemi Ajayi. This has been a very, very insightful conversation.
Thank you
And
very
of course, we must never misplace the fact that human resources, there is no essential management of the resources without the human factor.
Absolutely.
It's the human that actually makes the resources worth its onions.
Absolutely.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
All right, viewers, that's so much we can take on this edition. I'm very sure you enjoyed this conversation, and you know that sometimes when you do what you do that because there is an human element to it, not necessarily because there is a selfish gain at the end of the day. However, whatever you do, have it behind your mind that you are improving the environment and as well impacting life. Please stay tuned with us. Business Matters continues after this.
Business matter. Business matter. Let's talk business. Business matter.
The most valuable part of your company is the people, which is the human capital. And any plans to move your business forward must start from that idea. This is so much we can bring to you on this edition of Business Matters. Please do reach us on all our various social media platforms. Till I come your way next week, I remain Stephen Ipalobo Lawson. Thank you for watching.